Okay, in this episode of Travels with Lucky, who is back there a little bit, playing in the last of the snow, hopefully the last of the snow. But in this episode of Travels with Lucky, I'm going to follow up on our visit to the cemetery. I'm still at the orphanage right now, Montana State Orphanage, which is now called the Children's Center. But I wasn't able to find the marker that I was looking for over there at the cemetery because of all the snow. Well, we've actually had some snow melt here in southwest Montana, so I wanted to follow up on that. And then, lo and behold, I discovered something else. So it seems as though I'm turning into more of a history mystery detective. And when I go to film these places, I end up with more questions than answers sometimes. So I have some other questions, and maybe some of you might be able to help me out. I checked with my local historians who are well into their 70s and know a lot about the history, but they weren't able to actually answer my questions. So we'll just put it out there for all of you. So I hope you enjoy this adventure as we travel the back roads of southwest Montana and find interesting little known places and discover some historical facts. Okay, I'm heading to the Twin Bridges Cemetery and I'm on one of the dirt roads. I'm hoping it's not too muddy because snow just melted, and we'll see what happens. This particular trip, I am following up on my video from the orphanage where I went over there and I was trying to locate the headstone for the children's orphans. Well, the snow's melted, so I think I can do that. But I also have questions about the stone markers at the gates of this cemetery, and that's the other big thing I am trying to figure out. Almost to the cemetery, and one of the reasons I'm doing this is because those stone markers are connected to something else that I've seen as I've been driving around the back roads here in Madison County, and I need to get these questions answered. So after I show you around the cemetery again a little bit more to point out the grave marker for the orphans, I'm going to take you back over to this place. It's in one of the back roads where I believe might be the original builder, stonemason, of all of these rock cairns that we're seeing around town. I'll have to check with my local historians. I actually have a couple of people in their 70s that I consult with when I need advice about historical markers or historical places, because, you know, people who've lived here and grown up actually a lot better awareness and understanding of the history. And I feel like I'm getting the real deal. I often will look on the internet for some historical information about places, and oh my gosh, some of the things that people come up with really have no bearing on the truth. So I like to check with the real people in the valley, and there's getting to be fewer and fewer of them, unfortunately. So here we are. I love rocks, so I'm fascinated by these. I am thinking Camilla Gage has something to do with these, but I'm going to find out for sure. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these at this cemetery. This is the same cemetery that was connected to the children's home, the original state orphanage. And I was here earlier when there was really too much snow and it was pretty cold. So now I do need the exercise. I'm going to walk around a little bit and you'll see some interesting names. Brooke, White, Owsley, Baker, Blockovitz, Page. A lot of these people settled in the area. Oh, look at this. They used a piece of petrified wood for the marker. That's pretty cool. Jenkins, Ruppel. I might get some insight onto some of these family names too when I go and talk to some of my people. I actually have met a lot of these family relatives of these family members. Reeds, Dale Reed. We actually worked with Dale, Frank, George, Laura, Ann, and the Herds family. Gosh, there's so many really important people here. Oh, I was wondering about Cleta. Yep, I knew this couple, and I hadn't seen Cleta around. Oh, well, there she is with her lovely husband. Wonderful people. Bayers, famous Bayers Barn Ranch. This is actually a little bit bigger cemetery than you might think. So I'm getting some pretty good exercise walking around here. But here, while I'm here, here's the far to, and there's the airport. It's a lot more hangars than there used to be, and then they put up their different fueling station back in there. So small jets actually can fly in here, but mostly are smaller private planes. There's the runway strip out there. You can see what a beautiful spot they have to fly in. Of course, there's mountains all around, so it can be a little bit dangerous. That's Ruby Mountain there. Kind of unusual for Montana. Today it's perfectly still. There's not a bit of wind. Okay, so just gonna walk down here. Did you know there's a website that you can go to if you're trying to search out where somebody might be buried, and it tells you where the grave of a particular individual is. I'll find that website and I'll put a link in there. They actually still have a lot of open area for this cemetery. Well, it looks like I'm not the only one walking it. I never mind walking around cemeteries because they're usually very well taken care of, and it's just kind of interesting. So this is Travels with Lucky, and Lucky stayed home today. He was with me earlier in the morning and kind of wore himself out. Okay, so there we have the Highlands. A lot of times you hear me refer to a tabletop. You can't actually see tabletop from this angle, but on the other side of those mountains, about 50-60 miles away, is Butte, Montana. Now here's some old equipment. This is also a part of the airport over here. They're always working on things over here. You can see how the snow's melted off on the foothills. Those are all facing south, so they get good exposure. And the snow now, hopefully, yay, finally, will all be melting, and we can officially welcome spring. All right, so I'm heading back up this way. Okay, now I think I'm getting closer. If you do happen to come to this cemetery in the summertime or when the weather gets warm, just a little word of caution. Out back there are kind of a lot of rocks, and you have to really watch for rattlesnakes in here, because they do like to come out. And there's quite a few around this area. I've seen a lot of them down in the roads back in there. In fact, I did a whole video on this one rattlesnake because it was so huge. Wow, those have stories on the back. That's kind of interesting. Let's see if I can zoom in. Do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, and not one of them will fall to the ground without your Father's will? But even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore. You are of more value than many sparrows. Matthew 10:28-31. Oh, nice. What do we have over here? I saw by the night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him there were red horses, speckled and white. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will show thee what these be. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth. Zechariah 1:8, verse 9 and 10. Oh, these are really nice. Here's another one. I'll just zoom in and you can stop it and read it if you're interested. That is really interesting. And then here's another one. So let's go around and see what family this is. Alford. Okay, I found what I was looking for when I made this video before. You remember the video about the orphanage and the cemetery connection? And then I couldn't find what I was actually looking for because there was too much snow. So I definitely wanted to follow up on that. And so I had two reasons for coming back here. One is to show you those cairns or the rock pillars and so forth. And the other is to show you what I was looking for before. So let me turn the camera around. And there we have it. The Orphans Tombstone was buried in snow before, so that's why I couldn't find it. There was probably about 5 feet of snow over it. I kept looking and looking, and I knew it was supposed to be there, but I couldn't find it. I just thought it was very interesting. And here they show all of the names of the orphans. And there's a lot of just blank headstones. I was kind of wondering what the earliest date was on these. I do a close-up here in case anybody's interested. Yeah, so most of these died fairly early. 1907, 1920, 1906, Queen Baby. They have those angel wings there, and then right all around here are the unmarked graves. They have a light and a flower on each of them. There's quite a few of them in here. I didn't stop and count them all, but you can see it takes up all that space in there. Well, that completes that mystery. I found that headstone. I knew it was there. I kind of thought maybe I was going crazy for a second. Here's an overview of the cemetery. Okay, so the next part of this video is really fun. I drive around the back roads a lot, of course, you know, and find really interesting things. Then I consult with people who are in the know to find out what that's all about. So I'm taking you to show you the connection between this cemetery and this house. It's called Rockhaven. Okay, so there's those red-tailed hawks. They're pretty happy that the snow's melting too. I hope they show up in here. I'm not sure if they will. I can't really see. Anyway, let's go on to see Rockhaven. And you tell me, what do you think? Is there a connection? So that's Ruby Mountain back there. There are the red tails, just soaring. They never move their wings. They just ride those warm air pockets. Okay, so look closely at this masonry work, and then let's compare it to Rockhaven. I really think that the same stonemason may have made it. All right, so here we are. Oh, yeah. Well, not only do we have super slip, muddy roads, but oh, I'm slipping all over the place. We have turkeys crossing the road. I can't believe it's the same day as this morning. It was snowing like crazy, and we ended up with about 3 inches of snow on the ground. But yahoo, the sun came out. Pretty much melted it all. So I thought I would head up. I am looking for a particular house because it relates to the cemetery over there in Twin Bridges. Okay, I'm gonna go see if I can find this house. As you know, I traveled the back roads quite a bit, and you never know what you're gonna find when you're coming across the back roads. And several years ago, I came across this most interesting place, and I think you'll agree with me. Hang on, we've had a lot of snow this morning, a couple inches, and I'm hoping this road isn't going to be too muddy because we are getting some strong sun now, so we're getting some good melt. Here we are. I'm coming right by it. It's called Rockhaven. If you're from the area, I'm sure you've passed by it. So I just have a suspicion that this stonemason, is the same one who did the cairns at the cemeteries. I don't know for sure. I even checked with my historians, and they didn't know for sure either. So this is called Rockhaven. These people love rocks. Look at this. So it's truly my suspicion that this stonemason is the same one who created those cairns over there at the Twin Bridges Cemetery where I just was. And then I'm also going to show you a few cairns at the Sheridan Cemetery because they look very similar. You tell me, is that correct? Do you think it's the same? Okay, so I'll head over to the Sheridan Cemetery and show you some more. And on my way, look what I discovered. Well, I had to turn around because these turkeys are also enjoying this nice weather. They just kind of make themselves right at home wherever they happen to be. Some people get a little aggravated. Ooh, there's Mr. Tom and showing off a little bit. Too bad the sun's not hitting it, but it's always fun to see these turkeys. Just think at one time, the wild turkeys were almost extinct, and then they brought them back. Oh, I don't know. It's probably been 20, 30 years. I see them all the time. Well, I wasn't really planning to put wild turkeys in this particular video, but how can I not? I think it's always a treat to see them. So there you have a little bit of our urban wildlife here in southwest Montana. Okay, I had to make one last stop here because this is the Sheridan Cemetery here behind me. I just wanted to show you this. And then I'm going to entrance. So this is the Sheridan Cemetery. It's just turning out to be such a beautiful evening here. But, alright, so, okay, that's Ruby Mountain there behind us. Notice the cairn right there, the gate entrance. All right, then right here, unfortunately, I'll show you around here a little bit. Unfortunately, somebody plowed into one of them. Let me zoom in on the mountain back there. So you can just barely see it back in there. That's Baldy. Those are the Tobacco Root Mountains. And of course that's facing south. And what's kind of cool this time of year, I love to see the outline of the foothills now that the snow is melting, and then it just leaves that nice line along the crest of the mountains. Just really beautiful this time of year. And plus we're a lot more optimistic because we are realizing that spring really is just around the corner. I'm not going to go into any detail here at the Sheridan Cemetery. I'll do that later in the summer. But it's a beautiful spot up here. And I'm just going to walk down here a little bit closer to these. And you tell me, what do you think? There's pretty good similarities here, right? From the Twin Bridges Cemetery. But look at this. Sadly, somebody plowed into that, but look at, they took all this quartz rock. It's kind of interesting in a way because you can see into it. And I think this would show up, but look at that beautiful pink quartz rock. And then these other really interesting rocks in there. It's just really beautiful. So, the entrance is dedicated to the memory of Otto Schultz, erected by his family. He's contributed a lot to the town of Sheridan. There's a park I go to all the time, and he donated the land. But look at how beautiful this is. Those rocks. I'm gonna walk around here, show you the rest of it. You just don't see things like this. And sometimes a lot of people don't really stop to appreciate this kind of art. It's just beautiful. And the setting couldn't be finer, with Ruby Mountain in the background. Well, hey, thanks a lot for watching. This is Travels with Lucky. Subscribe if you haven't. We like going on adventures around southwest Montana, showing you historic places and providing little known facts.